Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady, it's your boy German. You tuned into another episode of the weekly wrap-up on Kinetic Aesthetic. I am your host Germ, and this week we have some interesting stories to talk about. We've got Kanye West and his new album, his new rollout that he's doing for it. Very interesting right there. We've got the Milwaukee Bucks winning the NBA Finals and bringing a championship to the city of Milwaukee for the first time in over 50 years, an NBA championship, I should say. And we have the NFL and its vaccination policy and just all the crazy reactions we've gotten from it and just the way it's being handled right now. But I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to spend too much time on this intro. Let's go and get into it. Hello there, everybody. Germ here. Just wanted to let you all know, if you want to support the show, if you want to make sure you stay in tune with all the new updates that we got going on, make sure you go and check out my website, kineticaesthetic.net. On that site, you can find a whole bunch of stuff related to the show. You can find a whole bunch of just little blog posts on all my episodes when they drop. You can use that to stay in tune, so make sure you never miss anything that I release. You can also find some merch that I got going on. Right now, I just got some necklaces going on. There's some hot shit. You should go check it out. But if you want to stay in tune, like I said, just make sure you go and check out kineticaesthetic.net. Once again, that is kineticaesthetic.net. This is your boy Germ saying, I appreciate you for doing it. Okay, so leading things off for us, we're going to talk about Kanye West and the rollout he's doing for his new album, Donda. Now, on Wednesday, actually it was Tuesday, Kanye pretty much just pretty much announced that he was going to be doing a live listening party to his new album at the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. It was pretty much it just showed up in a commercial starring Sha'Carri Richardson during the NBA Finals. I think that was the first announcement he did for it. He's been pretty quiet on this album. He hasn't really said too much about what he's doing or what he's got planned. He's just been sort of, just letting everything speak for itself. So pretty much what happened was on Thursday, a whole bunch of just fans, I don't know if they were buying tickets or not, or if it was just like first come, first serve, but they got into the Mercedes-Benz Dome and he just did a live show. He just walked out to the middle of the stage. There was no stage, by the way, so it was pretty much he just walked out to the middle of the stadium, surrounded by just a packed audience. Kim Kardashian was there, a whole bunch of other celebrities, and he just stood there as he just let his music play. I was listening to it secondhand. I had one of my friends who was just doing the live stream. I don't have Apple Music, but it sounds like it's a real return to form, back to old Kanye, or at least whatever the old Kanye is. It's not like he ever really stays the same on any album, but it sounded like a decent album. It sounded like there's a lot going on with it. The soundscape is crazy on it. He had Lil Baby features. He had Jay-Z. That was what a lot of people were going crazy over. Him and Jay-Z are back together. I guess he had to get rid of Kim to get Jay-Z's approval again. But yeah, it sounds like Kanye is back. It sounds like he's ready to just do his thing again. I really can't say too much about the music on the album. Like I said, I didn't really get a chance to listen to it in, I guess, the best quality from the stream itself, so I don't want to say too much. I do want to say there were a lot of different little moments that I had heard or just caught that sounded a little crazy. Like he was just had the whole "I'm losing my family" thing that he was saying on there. You had the speeches from his mom. It feels like this album is going to be a real personal one, and it's gonna be an album to listen to. It feels like that Kanye is going through just another major shift in his life since he just got divorced from Kim. He's just going through a whole bunch of stuff, but it feels like he's ready to just let the music do the talking for him instead of just coming out, doing a whole bunch of interviews, talking crazy to the media, just doing that type of stuff. It feels like we're going to just listen to some real music from this man, and that's going to be what does all the talking for him. So I'm actually excited for it. So I don't know exactly when the album is supposed to come out now. I do know that he had pushed it back. It was supposed to come out literally the same day as the live stream. Well, not the same day, but the day after the live stream. So right at midnight on Friday. That came and went. And right now I believe it's supposed to come out on August 6th. So I guess he decided to push it back. Kanye is a perfectionist, and that's something that's always been true about him. So him taking that little bit of extra time just means he's going to make that album even better. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to hear what he's got to say. I'm excited to hear what the album's going to sound like. And if you aren't going to check for it, you're probably going to be missing out. So August 6th, be ready for it. In other news, Giannis finally gets his ring. That is right, the Milwaukee Bucks were able to overcome the Phoenix Suns in 6 games, and they are your 2021 NBA champions. This is the first NBA title for the city of Milwaukee in over 50 years. It has been a long, long time coming for them, but they finally got it done. Giannis has cemented his legacy. He's no longer just a very great player, just an MVP with no real rings or anything. He's got his ring. You can say what you want about him, but he's certified. He's stamped now. Yeah, at least in my opinion, dude's a Hall of Famer now. You win 2 MVPs, you do all this other crazy stuff, become a Defensive Player of the Year, you're an All-Star, All-NBA player. He's a Hall of Famer now. It's like what Kobe said to him a while back, once you win that MVP, the next thing up is winning a ring, and he got it done. So shout out to him, shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis. They came through and they did what they had to. It was a great series. I really was only able to watch in full for the most part Game 6, and I can tell you this is honestly the best NBA Finals that I've had the chance to watch in a long time. You know, my biggest issue with the NBA for a while has been just the lack of parity. It's usually either LeBron going up there or it's Kevin Durant or Stephen Curry. Just one of those two just in the West, and then against LeBron in the East or the West or wherever he was. It was nice to see 2 teams that you really wouldn't have expected when the season started to be there. And you can attest that to all the injuries that happened, and it's probably not going to necessarily be the same next year when everybody's healthy. But it was nice to get this while we could. Hopefully the NBA will see the niceness of having all these different teams, these different markets that don't really usually get to have this type of success and get to this stage, and they'll try to do something to try to, increase the parity in the league. You don't want to take away the players' ability to choose where they want to go, but you got to make it some type of incentive for them to want to be there. Because this was nice. It was really fun. It was nice to see Devin Booker get his chance. I'm sad that Chris Paul didn't get his ring, but it was nice that he was able to have this type of run to the finals. He's still one of the greatest point guards of all time, top 5 in my opinion. So you gotta just appreciate it. I will say I do wish that the officiating would have been a little better, especially in Game 6, and I wish that it would have been a little bit more. It feels like the media didn't even want them to be there. It's like you complain about these teams that aren't big name markets, and I feel like that's just brainwashed fans at this point. That was a big take that I saw a whole bunch of on social media. Just people complaining about the Lakers not being in, or any LA team or some big market team like Brooklyn. You gotta understand, people. Not everybody wants to see the same teams every year. Not everybody wants to see a big market like Brooklyn, or a big market like, well, not Brooklyn, New York, I should say. Just you want to see something different, and you got to appreciate it, because just like I said, this probably isn't going to happen next year. LeBron's going to be healthy. AD is hopefully going to be healthy. I don't expect Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant to be unhealthy again next year. So you'll see. So we'll see what happens. But you gotta appreciate this, man. Giannis has finally been able to come out, cement himself as the legend that we already knew he was, or at least I knew he was. I'm not the biggest fan of the city of Milwaukee, just because that's Packers country. I'm a Bears fan, so I'm somewhat unhappy that the Phoenix weren't able to get the job done. But I do take some solace in the fact that Giannis was able to get himself a ring. Once again, shout out to him, shout out to the Bucks. Happy for the city of Milwaukee, happy for the city of Wisconsin. They were able to finally get themselves a ring, finally get themselves a title. Final news story for the week that I wanted to cover: the NFL and its vaccination policy. Now, at this point, everybody knows about the COVID vaccine. How you feel about it is how you feel about it. You're either going to get it or you're not. I'm not really going to go into how I feel about it or my opinion on it. That's up to you to decide. I don't even want to lean in any type of direction. But it has been causing a lot of just happenings in the NFL. Very recently, the Minnesota Vikings offensive line coach pretty much just retired. He just quit his job because he did not want to get the vaccine. He didn't even want to have to deal with any type of fines for it. But what's even crazier to me is that there are some real big name players who have just been coming out and they're just not having it. They're not happy about it. DeAndre Hopkins has already come out and he's pretty much said in a deleted tweet, I don't even know what my future is going to be in the NFL because I just don't want to partake in this vaccine. Like, he's pretty much threatening to retire because he does not want to get this vaccine. Leonard Fournette, running back for the Tampa Bay Bucks, who just won a Super Bowl, which pretty much said, I can't do it when it comes to this vaccine. So these are big name players, and it's really starting to just drive a wedge in the sand between who wants to get it and who doesn't want to get it, because the NFL has pretty much a policy going where they want to get 85% of every team vaccinated. That's the mandate that they're going for. And it's not that they're forcing people to get the vaccine, but if you don't get it, you are subject to fines for about $14,000. So it's getting critical for these people, for these players, and it's getting critical for these coaches, for everybody in the league. And it's at the point now where they're sort of, I don't want to say they're forcing you to get it, but especially if you're not a big name player who doesn't have money like that, you're pretty much put in a position where you have to get it because that $14,000 is sort of critical. And it's just getting, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't necessarily, because at this point I do believe either if you're going to get it, you're going to get it, and if you're not, that's your own choice. But I also understand at this point, it's a respect thing. I actually was having a conversation with a Lyft driver about this, and he told me, at this point, if you don't want to get the vaccine, that's fine, but you have to just wear your mask everywhere, and you have to just understand that you're gonna have to be, especially if you're doing a job like the NFL where you're just sort of, it's contact sports. You're gonna be going up against people. You're gonna be running into them, collisions. It's just all the different. I don't want to say just the way that you just are sweating and body fluids can just get tossed around, not to sound too crazy when I say that, but it is a serious thing, and I feel like it's a lot easier to catch it if you're playing the NFL football than it is if you're not. But this COVID stuff has just been crazy in general. Just the whole process of it. They've got this new Delta variant that's supposed to be way more deadly just going on. It feels like this is the story that's never going to end, and it's just wild to me. These are guys who are making who are multimillionaires. They've got all this money in the world, yet they're still just sort of subject to this process. And you know what? I will say, if you're a multimillionaire like DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think you should necessarily be too worried about getting this vaccine. But at the same time, I understand this is everybody's choice for the most part. And it's just crazy to think that we could necessarily lose a talent like DeAndre Hopkins in the league because he just doesn't want to get this vaccine. Because they're sort of telling him, you have to get the vaccine, otherwise we're going to just start taking money out of your paycheck. And it's just crazy that it's gotten to this point, y'all. Like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into how I feel about the vaccine, how I feel about all this COVID stuff. It's your own opinion. It's up to you what you want to do with it. But yeah, this vaccine is really driving a wedge in the sand, and it'll be interesting to see how this story develops over the course of the season. If we see anybody even catch COVID this year, any new cases, it's going to be a crazy year to watch. So just stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled, and we'll see how the major sports leagues are affected by it. That is everything for this week. I would like to thank you all for listening. Thank you all for tuning in. And I want to say I do appreciate that you checked in to Kinetic Aesthetic. This has been another installment of the weekly wrap-up. I am your host, Germ, and I do want to say thank y'all for listening. Y'all have a good one.